Goodbye to Angel Island by Jiang Qingling, illustrated by Dom Lee. Page 2. Hing Guang sat up in bed. He had been dreaming of his hometown in China, but as he looked around, the dream faded. Instead of his family's familiar faces, Guang saw a dormitory room crowded with bunk beds and strangers. It was very early. Most of the others in the room were still asleep. Rubbing his eyes, Guang remembered his recent journey across the Pacific Ocean. Just yesterday, after 7 weeks of exhausting travel, the boat had docked at a place called Angel Island, close to San Francisco, California. Although the island's name sounded pleasant, the camp was a frightening place. Armed men in uniforms guided Guang and the other Chinese immigrants off the boat and into a cold, gray building. Inside, everyone was required to register at a booth. Then they were ushered into this crowded dormitory room. Page 4. From his top bunk, Guang could see out the window to the beautiful golden hills beyond the bay. To the right of the hills, he could see the city of San Francisco. San Francisco was where Guang hoped to meet his father. As he gazed outside, Guang rubbed a coin in his pocket. Before his father had left for America, he had given the ancient coin to Guang. His father had traced the coin's history through many generations of their family. He had instructed Guang to keep the coin with him at all times and said it would bring good luck. Page 5. 5 years earlier, his father had arrived in San Francisco and found a job at a restaurant. He became a successful chef and gradually saved enough money to send for Hing Guang, his eldest son. Guang felt honored that his father had sent for him, but now he wondered when they would actually meet. His journey across the Pacific Ocean had taken a long time, and now he was stuck in this camp. How long will I be here? Guang worried. Page 6. A distant breakfast bell began ringing. Soon the room was alive with activity. Guang dressed quickly and followed the other boys and men out the door, down a hall, and into a cafeteria. The aroma of steamed rice filled the large crowded room. Guang joined the long food line, suddenly aware of the growling in his stomach. "Here," said a boy standing next to him, "you need a rice bowl." While Guang mumbled his thanks, the other boy introduced himself. "My name is Li Pin. What's your name?" "My name is Hing Guang. How long have you been here?" asked Pin. "I just came in yesterday. How about you?" "I arrived last month." "Last month? You've been here for a month already?" asked Guang incredulously. The boys moved through the line slowly. "1 month isn't so long," Pin responded. "Some people leave right away, but a lot have to stay for several months, or even longer. I've heard of people who've been here for years." Guang frowned. "I don't understand. Why would people choose to remain here so long? I can't stay. My father is expecting me." "People don't choose to stay here. Sometimes they're forced to stay," Pin replied. Page 8. Guang fell silent at the thought of staying on Angel Island for years. He and Pin quickly sat and ate the watery rice porridge they had at least been served. Then they went outside to the exercise yard. Guang blinked in the bright California sunshine. The land was bare, and the buildings were isolated. Barbed wire surrounding the camp. He suddenly felt like a prisoner. What have I done wrong? Guang wondered. He fingered the coin in his pocket. Page 9. "How do we get off this island?" Guang asked Pin. "You have to wait for the interrogation process," Pin replied. "What's that?" asked Guang. Pin paused before he spoke. "It's a question and answer session. If you answer the questions well, you could go immediately. But if your answers aren't satisfactory, you could be stuck here for a long time, or even be sent back to China. Page 10. But why do we have to take this test? Guang was a little worried. A lot of people pretend to have relatives in America, Pin answered. During a fire in San Francisco in 1906, all immigration records were destroyed. Some people sold false papers to others who wanted to come to America. Now, only relatives of people living in America can legally enter the country. Page 11. Is the test hard? Asked Guang. It depends, replied Pin. In your case, the right answers are the same ones your father gave. Your father took a similar test when he first arrived. Your answers must match his answers. Page 13. Pin continued. For you, answering questions may be easy, but some people use coaching books to help them prepare for the test. A coaching book? What's that? Asked Guang. It lists sample questions that the immigration officers may ask. You can take a look at mine, offered Pin. Later, back in the dormitory, Guang looked at the questions in Pin's coaching book. How many rooms did your house have? Where was the rice bin kept? Guang smiled with relief. These questions didn't seem too difficult. A few days later, it was time for the boys' interviews. Pin went first. He was in the interview room for more than an hour. As the clock ticked, Guang grew more nervous. Inside his pocket, he clutched the coin his father had given him. Guang hoped it would bring him good luck today. Finally, Pin came out, smiling confidently. Guang went in next. 3 stern, uniformed officers sat behind a long wooden table. They took turns barking questions at Guang. The questions were similar to the ones in the coaching book, and he answered them quickly. Page 14. Page 15. After an hour of answering questions, Guang began to fidget on his hard wooden seat. One last question, said one of the officials, looking sternly across the table at Guang. Guang felt his heart begin to race. What did your father give you for good luck? Asked the man. Guang smiled. A coin, he said confidently. A special coin that belonged to my ancestors. Page 16. The next day, Guang and Pin boarded the ferry for San Francisco. As the boat headed toward the city, Guang looked back. With one hand, he clutched the old Chinese coin. With the other, he waved goodbye to Angel Island. The end.